This is Small Biz Florida, the podcast designed and produced specifically for Florida small business owners and entrepreneurs. Small Biz Florida, talk that works for Florida. This podcast is supported by the Florida SBDC Network, providing the tools, strategies, and expertise to help Florida's business community thrive. Visit the Florida SBDC online at www.floridasbdc.org or contact your local office and get started on your path to success today.
This is Small Biz Florida. I'm your host, Tom Kindred, or sometimes known as, what am I known as, Barbara?
El Rico.
That's right. Yes, Barbara and I spent a little time together last night with others here at the Small Business Summit, brought to you by the Florida SBDC. It is all taking place here at the beautiful Westin on the beautiful beaches of Fort Lauderdale. The room is full. There's 250 some odd small business owners and operators in attendance, and it's all things small business here for the last couple of days. And we've got one of those standout small business operators with us right now, Barbara Bonarrigo. She is the founder, owner, operator of CJ Manufacturing. I'm looking forward to this conversation. And yes, Barbara and I and a handful of other folks were together last night in a very nice establishment where there was a mariachi band.
Yes.
So
awesome.
I learned lots of things last night.
Yes, you did.
That's right. So Barbara and I talked about our segment this morning. We said, we're going with our new names here from last night. That's right. Barbara, welcome to Fort Lauderdale. Welcome to the Small Business Success Summit, and welcome to Small Biz Florida.
Well, thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I had a great time last night, and a great time this couple of days. So thank you for having me.
It's been a lot of fun and very informative and educational. So, I can't wait, Barbara. We were going to try to have you on a number of months ago, and of course, schedules just didn't work out. And as a small business owner and operator, you are busy. So, I do appreciate your time here and talking to us about all things small business. So let's get started. Barbara, just share with us a little bit of your background, pathway to creating and operating CJ Manufacturing.
Well, originally I'm from Germany. I met my husband on vacation, and I came here in 1989 to United States, and we lived in New York, where my father-in-law had actually one of the largest manufacturing companies in Long Island, with over 150 employees at the time. And so we were always in this kind of business. We did finishing at the time in New York, but then moved in 93 to Daytona Beach, because that's where General Electric was, and they looked for vendors. Well, General Electric got bought by Martin Marietta, I believe, Lockheed Martin, but we already did work for them, so it was kind of, easy for us to stay there. And so we continued. So we have this company since then, and we make small components, metal components for the aerospace industry. So one of the main customers is Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, L3, and it's all over the country we do work for.
Right. And of course, even in my region down on the Treasure Coast, advanced manufacturing is really becoming big business for the state of Florida.
Yes.
Talk a little bit about the whole manufacturing space. What is happening in Florida from your perspective with manufacturing?
Well, the manufacturing, actually, we have great opportunity. The only thing that we should maybe work on is the workforce itself. Right. Have some better apprenticeship, work on it. We already have good, it's starting already. Instead of 1 year, we have a 2-year program apprenticeship if you want to become a machinist. But, every manufacturer is different, and we do a particular part of it. So you have to be not only a machinist that can program, but you also have to be able to set up and make sure that the metal part itself is set
Right.
in the machine correctly.
What about in terms of, of small business itself? Now, you're very engaged in the small business community. You actually serve as a member of the advisory board for the Small Business Development Center. So you're very in tune to what's going on across the state. What do you hear about small business in general across the state of Florida?
Well, small business is the backbone of not only, our community, but our state and our country. So it is very important that we keep paying attention to that. And I think this summit is a great example for that, to keep it up. And I see a lot of companies here from all over, manufacturing,
Right.
IT, anything. So it's great to see. And women-owned businesses.
Right.
So that's very good to see as well.
And you obviously talk to us a little bit about the opportunities in terms of that, kind of like a women-owned business, veteran-owned business. A lot of government contracting opportunities available throughout Florida. Do you see that?
Throughout Florida, maybe. Again, we do mostly, it's nationwide, and ours is a specific type. It's for military mostly.
Right.
So it's a up and down constantly. Summertime is usually more quiet, and then they, like Lockheed Martin gets a big contract usually in the fall time, and then we see a lot more business there. But overall, I think Florida is doing a great job, and so.
And I think in the meeting the other day with your group, the advisory council, it always strikes me in the state of Florida that there is truly an amazing ecosystem of support for small business owners.
Absolutely.
I mean, you've got the SBDC, SCORE, MBDA, SBA,
Right.
and all of those folks are kind of at the table. Well, Florida Makes, the Manufacturing Association. So all of those folks are at the table at the advisory board. I mean, it really is a powerful group of small business support, is it not?
Absolutely. And, like I was mentioning yesterday at the board meeting too, what would be great is if we could have a roundtable discussion with the main manufacturers and then the small businesses of Florida or that come to the table and talk to each other about issues that we see, that issues that they see, or we can find solutions, and I think what is important is always work together and network, which we see here today, which a lot of...
And I know you've mentioned an issue, the cybersecurity issue. Kind of
Right.
speak to that issue a little bit. Where are the stumbling blocks with cybersecurity, especially in the areas of manufacturing and defense contracts?
Well, so we are very small, manufacturing business. We have 5 employees, and for us, it is just not feasible as much. I know that there is cybersecurity has to be there, but I feel almost like we should, the bigger companies or, the government companies, they maybe even the government, maybe helps those smaller companies with those fees, because if you're looking at a 5, employee company, it's not very feasible to pay $30,000-$40,000 for a cybersecurity. So I think we could maybe all work together in that way. I don't know the answer. Again, it would be great to work. That's why that round table would be a great idea to do that.
So again, you small business owner, woman-owned business, advocate for small business. You dedicated time to serving on the advisory board with the SBDC, and now you're running for city commissioner.
Yes, Ormond Beach City Commissioner. So
Barbara, you needed something else to do, I guess.
I have something else to do. I'm actually on 3 city boards. I'm on the Human Resource Board, on the Leisure Service Board, and I'm also on the Adjustment Board, and I'm very active right now on the Leisure Service Board because
Nice.
I really love the history, and we need to keep that as well. So have a nice setting.
Is part of your motivation here that come from that small business ownership kind of space? You feel the need, I've got to get out there, I've got to make sure I'm advocating, people need to understand the importance of all this. Is that kind of what drives you to be involved like that?
What really drives me, the first reason, is when I became American citizen in 2006. I stood there with, I don't know, hundreds of people, and then the person that was standing in front, he said, you swore us in to be Americans, and he says, and now you're an American citizen, and welcome home. And I had just had that feeling of like freedom, and I can do whatever I want to do, and let's be a productive member of society.
Nice.
Give back to your country and your community. And I started even before that, but that moment I was like, okay, I got to do stuff. So I was on the poll worker.
Wow.
I've always been involved in my community. I love my city. I love Ormond Beach.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
Is that where the actual manufacturing facility is?
Yes, it's actually in Daytona Beach. But yes, we have it right there, and you're always welcome to come by.
I'm coming up one day, Barbara.
Yes.
There's no doubt. I want to see it. Barbara, I have always, you and I met probably a year or more ago at an advisory board meeting. I've always been impressed with you, with what you're doing, with your dedication. And now I understand a little bit of what drives you. I think that's great. And we just cannot thank you enough for your support of the Florida SBDC as a member of the advisory board. We appreciate your support of the summit, and we appreciate your dedication and perseverance as a small business owner and operator, specifically a small manufacturer in the state of Florida.
I thank you, and I also want to thank our great governor, Ron DeSantis, who appointed me to be on the Small Business Advisory Board, and I want to thank you for doing this great job. I know it's not easy, and but you're doing amazing.
Piece of cake, Barbara.
Thank you.
Piece of cake.
No, thank you.
Yeah, it's, my story is simply that I was a small business owner, and for 25 years, I fought that battle every day.
I know.
Other than discussing it every day with my wife, I really had no place to turn. It is true, the buck kind of stops with us small business owners.
Right.
I just didn't know about this program. And I vowed when I got involved, I said, we're going to make it our mission to make sure that everyone knows about these resources. Whether you take advantage of them or not, I want people to know about them.
Right. And, and that's the thing, too, that clicked with me. When you have a clear vision, you go for it. I mean, that's me anyway. So I feel like everybody else should be that way,
right.
and needs to be that way.
Right.
Because this country has so much opportunity still. And this is the last country, the last frontier of freedom. And we need to take advantage of that and make it better. And
Right.
that's what I will do till the end.
I love it. Words to live by. Barbara Bonarrigo,
Yes.
or better known as La Reina.
La Reina.
There it is. I like it. You're so much better at that than me. I appreciated our time last evening.
Me too.
Good conversation. I appreciated learning some Spanish last night.
From a German. I don't know.
So I appreciate all of that. Barbara, again, thank you so much for your time today. I know you're busy. You're part of this whole event down here, so we appreciate that. And I look forward to coming up and visiting CJ Manufacturing. How could someone find CJ Manufacturing and kind of look at what you do?
So our address is, our website is called floridacncmachining.com.
Nice. Okay.
And there you can find all the information.
All right. Barbara, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
You have a wonderful day.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am. You too. This is Small Biz Florida. I am Tom Kindred, your host, and there is lots going on here. As you can see, lots of business leaders, movers, and shakers, like our last guest, Barbara Bonarrigo. And stay tuned, because there's lots more to come from the Small Business Success Summit here in Lauderdale. This is Small Biz Florida.
This has been Small Biz Florida, created and produced by the Florida Small Business Development Center at Indian River State College, your Your host for Small Biz Florida is Tom Kindred. Partners for Small Biz Florida include WPSL and WSTU, and it